Something I wanted to talk about while I'm driving home, guys. I didn't really plan on coming to work today. I was going to take the weekend off. I was going to maybe do some maintenance on my truck. I was going to relax, recoup. It's hot out. And, just like everybody, just like life, stuff comes up and crap's going on at home. And I still decided to show up, even when things are going on in life, you still show up no matter what, especially as a man. I've got a family to support. I've got people counting on me. I've got customers counting on me. The owners are counting on me. My guys are counting on me. My kids, my wife, and just because things aren't perfect and I don't feel like it, it doesn't mean I don't show up and go to work and do what I'm supposed to do and continue on. I talk to young people, even my kids, talking to my oldest son. They act like work is secondary, and everything else in regards to them is primary. Like, if they don't feel like it, they're not going to. And that's just not how it works. At least not for me. You still have to show up. You suit up, you show up, you do it, even if you don't feel like it. I didn't feel like going in today, but I did anyway, because I know that I have to. I know that people are counting on me. I've got to finish jobs, I have to get paid, I have to be able to start new jobs. And if I hadn't come in, I would be one day behind or more. Or I have to pay somebody else to do it. And I don't know, that's just how life seems to be for me. I have to put everything else aside and put my shoes on and go do it. And I know that's how it is for everybody. It's not me. I'm not complaining. I just wanted to make a video about it because it seems like talking to people, especially younger people nowadays, they feel like it's not as important. I don't know, as I guess to our generation. It's important to me to be consistent, to be reliable, dependable. If I say I'm going to do something, I do it. My yes means yes, my no means no. It just seems like those things aren't as important anymore, especially to this new generation. And I find it to be sad and irritating. I don't know. Subscribe, like, help me out, guys. I'm going to make another video and kind of lay out my whole situation, my reason for wanting to do these, for starting this. Primarily it was about work tips and wanting to share some of my skill set with everyone, and just tips that I've learned over the years. But I see that there's a potential to reach out and to share more. We all have something to offer. We all have something to share, especially as we get older. Even though it seems like with some of the younger kids, they feel like, and I guess we all did, we all felt like we knew more than our parents. But, come on. You've been doing this for 50-something years, however old you are. You know, we have way more experience than this younger generation does. We have something to offer. So this seems to be the new platform. You know, in the old days, you were only connected to a small group of people. You know, whoever you worked with, whoever you lived around, whoever you were, you know, friends with or family with, those were the people you were connected to. Nowadays, with this technology, with phones, with the internet, with social media, you can reach the whole world. You know, you could reach out and touch somebody across the globe. You know, in the old days, you had a group of maybe half a dozen or a dozen people that you were connected to. You know, now you can connect to thousands, tens of thousands, millions. So I'm just going to be open. I'm going to try to be as open and honest as I can with this, and I'm just telling you, my day started out crappy. It still is crappy. I still feel like crap. You know, things aren't perfect at home, but I'm still doing what I need to do today. So I'll talk to you guys later.